you know, MLK didn't do it by himself. Everybody remembers him for it. Everybody remembers his name. But there were, thousands that had to support him, who had to march with him, who had to make sacrifices just as he did. He might have been one of the ones who was organizing it and getting people together, but without the support and help of every other community member and every other person that wanted to change, nothing would have gotten done. It had to be in the power of the numbers again. Similar to Cesar Chavez, we were talking about that earlier, and how he affected a lot of things. So again, it just comes back to being able to use your power in that aspect. So that's another form of it right there. But that's one way to fight social injustices, is to kind of realize the way to handle it is the power of the people, and get together and try to set up things. Social media is huge for things like that now. It's easy to sit at home and you can affect and talk to thousands and thousands of people just like that, just by sending out a message or a tweet or an Instagram picture, or, any type of way you could do that.
I just don't want you to feel like you're powerless, because I think that so many people feel powerless, especially probably within the complex. They don't know what they can do, or people that are living in these types of situations, they don't know what they can do. And you guys are very young, and you guys are so smart, and I don't want you to ever feel like you're powerless against what they used to call the man, the man being the government. It's not you against the government, but it is you being able to stand up, and there's different ways to do it. Of course, you're not gonna run in there acting all crazy and telling them you need to change this, but there is power in numbers. If you show up in numbers, people get scared. If you were to show up to City Hall with 30 kids, people would be like, what are all these kids doing here? And it would get their attention, because they're not used to that. It doesn't happen. So if you were to show up 30, 40 kids, even 20 kids, and you sit down, they're gonna be like, okay, what's going on over there? And you're gonna get their attention. And other people are going to notice, and they're gonna say, what's going on? They're gonna ask somebody, what's going on? And you can tell them, this is what's going on in my neighborhood or my complex, and I want to bring it to the attention of City Hall, and it grows. You can start small, but it grows. But that's just any situation. If you want, and that's kind of what we've been talking about as far as the school as well, is that every one of you guys has the power to change. Don't ever think that you're insignificant, that you're not old enough, or you're not strong enough, or you're not verbal enough. Anything that any of you want to change, you have the power to change. And there's ways to organize. And as he said, with social media is worldwide. I have a friend that it works on immigration issues, and he'll run a campaign on social media and send it. He's got 2,000 people on his page, and he'll send it out and says, hey, support this, please share it. Before you know it, you've had 10, 20,000 people look at it, and he's able to make something happen based on that. And if nothing happens, he at least raise awareness on the issue. So if you do have something that you want to be heard, put it out there, create a post, but be smart about it. You don't want to sound like a hothead. You want to be smart about it and say, this is the issue, this is what I think needs to happen. Who I need people to join me and share this information so that we can start creating change. I promise you, the city government and all of government is very, very aware of the power that social media has, because it's seen like that. You get your point across like that. So if you start sharing it and you can convince other people to share it and they share it, it's that's just as effective as marching down to City Hall 20 deep. So you do have the power. I just want you to make sure you guys know that you have the power to change what you think needs to be changed. Does it happen overnight? No. It takes time, but you have to be patient.
I was just about to say, the patience aspect is the hardest part of it, because with change, you're always going to have, it's going to be fought. Nobody likes change. Well, I'm not going to say nobody. There's several people that like change, but you're going to have, there's people who have things, set up the way they want it because it's benefiting them. So why would they change it if it's not going to benefit them anymore? They're going to, do their best to fight and keep things exactly how there is. And usually, which is the definition of oppression. I have it written down here. It's basically when a person or a group in a position of power continues and controls the less powerful in cruel and unfair ways. Keeping the neighborhoods on the lower side, not putting new things in, not, putting in the new community centers in the nicer neighborhoods, keeping the older ones run down. Because you have a certain power group at the top that's holding the power, and they want to keep things in certain ways. So, and they find ways, and of course it can't be as blatant and obvious nowadays as it was maybe, 30, 40, 50 years ago, because times have changed, we are more politically correct and things like that, but they have their, they find their ways of, little jabs is what I would like to refer to them as, is just being able to keep ways down and, but no, she's 100% correct. The change part is gonna take time. One of those things that, not gonna happen overnight. You have to pace yourself, you have to realize, and you can't get discouraged whenever you're trying to, for whatever it might be that you feel is worth the fight. Everybody's not gonna agree on the same fights, but whatever you feel is gonna be worth fighting for, that you wanna change because you're tired of this or you're tired of that. And it affects everybody of all races, you can be, to be poor, you don't have to be any particular race. White, black, Hispanic, Asian, pick one. You've got poor through all of them, just like to be rich. Anybody can be rich as well. So it doesn't discriminate on that aspect. It's more of the poor people are the ones that are constantly having to be the ones that are dealing with the injustices. So those are the ones that eventually will have to revolt and fight back and find ways to do it. And luckily we're getting tools nowadays that we can use it. And like she said, I think social media is the most powerful one, because before, how could you get out? How could you, if you want to go talk to, 1,000 people, how long would it take you to go door to door? How long would it take you to stand out in front of Walmart? How many people could you talk to in, 3 Saturdays? Standing out there trying to talk to people and get them